All right, I'm trying to find the proper balance of adding and building a position and not hitting my stop loss on the way down, trying to figure out how to do that. Looking for support levels, pivot levels by supply and demand levels, you name it, Fibonacci levels, moving averages, trend lines, whatever it takes to figure out where price might react and change directions. So in the process of getting into a position, I do not like to get into a position all at once, all heavy, and get out of the whole thing when it goes against me. I don't prefer that. I will do that. I'm learning to do that, but I like the idea of adding at least once to your position and having multiple contracts so you can scale out of it as well. But if my goal is to not lose more than $500, let's say, then I have to figure out where can my maximum position be put in place and how far down can it go before I hit that maximum loss. So it's tricky. All right, right now we're holding 2 micros top right, and my maximum loss on this is supposed to be $500. So let's use that. And right now we're down 180. And so why did I go long on it? Well, let's talk about why I went long on it first, because it looks like it's climbing back up right here. Here's all the moving averages. Price just spiked up over on the daily chart. It's pulling back to those moving averages, and it's looking green again. So today's a green day. It's an inside day, but that's good because it hasn't fallen below any particular levels that it would say warning. It's just an inside day. It's inside the previous bar. Anything can happen. So here, since anything can happen, we've seen these days completely turn red and violate and come down and keep going down in red. So we have to be aware at some point you have to have a maximum loss. You can't just lose everything. Got to get out at some point. So what I've done in this video, I'm just making a video showing where my $500 risk limit is. And I want to be able to see if I can keep that for this account. That's 3 micros. Okay. So right now we got long up here, probably right here. I should put that right there. That was way too high. But I added right here a second micro at lowering my price right in the middle, halfway here. And if my maximum loss limit is 500, I got to keep an eye on that number right there. I got to bail on this trade when it gets to 500, no matter what. That's my stop loss. I still have the opportunity to add some more to my position down here, but I have to watch that $500 maximum limit if that's going to be my stop loss. I can't violate that, right? So I'm not going to add yet. The reason why is because in the NQ or the MNQ, price can move 50, 100 points, and I don't need to try to make up this gap here, because it can easily go right back up here. I don't have to add to make it green, I have to understand that even if I'm in the red, all it takes is a little move. So I don't have to keep adding unnecessarily to drop this average price closer and closer and closer and closer to me. And that's why you add, is to kind of want to bring that down so that you're close enough to save. But this number right here cannot get past whatever your stop loss is. And for this trade, it's $500. All right, so that's where I'm at. I'll let you know how it goes as we record here. I'll pause and we'll come right back to it. Okay, let's show this measuring tool where I can see how far down I got to go here. 3 micros. So at the top right corner, down 227, that's with 2 micros. This number 532 is for 3 micros, so that's not going to stop me out if it gets down there because I don't have 3 micros. Oh. Well, I might be, wow, that really, really did nicely. I didn't have a chance. This is where I wanted to add a micro down here. But it's very, okay, now I got to really watch that maximum loss here, because I'm already at 342 with 3 micros. Now I got 3 micros. But that's the wrong number there. So let me remeasure everything where I need to be here. With 3 micros with a $500 risk limit. That's for 5 micros. Let's stretch it down farther. and get to that 500 number right there for 3 micros, right there. Okay, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. And it stopped me out for 3 micros, $500 loss on that. Well, that's, now let's say that I wanted a $1,000 loss. At some point, you're going to hit your maximum loss. So whatever you do when you raise your daily loss limit, you can never raise it enough. At some point, it will get hit unless you cut it off sooner. Unless you keep it smaller, the more higher and bigger you make the stop loss, it's eventually going to get hit in my experience. So I'm going to do this for $1,000 just for entertainment purposes and see, because I eventually got to get it right. I eventually got to guess, because that's pretty much what you're doing with statistical analysis. You're making an educated guess based on analysis. Where would this thing bounce if it pulls down? Where can I build my position size? And what is my stop loss? So let's just continue for 1,000 and see what happens. More than likely, it'll hit the 1,000 as well. And then you really, really got to get out of the trade, or you're just going to blow that 50K Apex account. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, it may still continue to go down, but I caught this little bounce right here with 1 more micro. So now I'm actually along 4 micros right here. And remember, we changed it from 500 to 1,000. And we really have to keep that. All right, so let's see what happens. Okay, what's going on? Well, it was looking like it wanted to make a run to break even. I've got my mind made up, though. You know, these kinds of things, when you finally build your position and all you can do is break even, that's not a very good strategy. Yes, you have a high win rate because you can break even pretty easily, but to hold it for a profit is the goal. And you got to, I've been making a bad habit of just, oh gosh, I hope it gets back to break even, and then closing for a few dollars. But look at the red day potential here, like we were saying earlier in the video here. This thing could turn around and come red and come crashing down. You never know what's going to happen. So you have to have your stop losses. So the $500 stop loss was hit. We still have not hit the $1,000 stop loss. This thing was cruising right on up to break even right up here. And then just had this really fast pull down. And now it's going back up kind of fast. So it could be choppy for a while if it gets back up there. At some point, all you can do is break even, because that's all price is going to give you. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Towards the last hour, I want to be out of the trade in case there's any funny business. But I don't like to necessarily hold that long if I don't have to. But right now it's still pre-noon, so we'll hold it. And we'll keep that $1,000 risk limit in place, and I'll let you know what happens. Stay tuned. Now look at the price action, screaming back up again. So yeah, it's going to be hard to just hold it once it gets to break even after being down, you know, almost I think 800, 900. No, I was down like $1,100 or something like that, because it had broken this box right here, which is a $1,000 loss. And then I had marked out, oh, no, that's the 500. The 1,000 was right down here. Okay. Well, it's about to get to break even. So, again, I could just get out of it and call it a close call and go, wow, you know, that almost got me. Or I could stick to the plan and let this thing keep running. That I will let you know in just a moment. Okay, what I did was I just reduced myself half size. So I closed that position and reopened half size. So now we're long 2 micros instead. So, you know, the profit won't be that great, but at least I'm holding more than one. And I can add, if it does some kind of crazy pullback, I'm freed up a little bit here now to add those back at a cheaper price. So there's a lot of pros and cons to doing what I did. The goal is to hold the trade longer when you have plenty of time in the day left, which I do, and to see if that thing can go. There's more times than not, more times than I've lost the account, more times than I've hit my maximum loss, that the account keeps right on going when I get out of it too early. So here we closed half of the position. We're holding the other half. Let's see what happens. All right, let's see if we're going to keep going here. I would love to get a $500 return on this. I'm not sure if it'll get back up to the highs here and keep going, but if it does, I'm looking close to that with 2 micros. And if I kept the other, that'd be $1,000 hit. And this is what I'm talking about, being patient and holding it after suffering this kind of potential loss, $500 loss, and then almost $1,000 loss. You got to get something in return for that kind of risk. And if you're not, then the system is broken. So I don't want to just break even. I've already lightened my load, half of it, and I really got to just let this play out. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm going to give it a try. I bought those same 2 back that I sold up higher. I could have made about 70, 80, 90 dollars on this pop-up though, and then I could have bought everything back lower. So I'm really just I'm going to try to play the range here, and if it gets back up over break even here, I'll sell for whatever profit I can on those same 2 and keep lowering my price and keep wiggling through if it stays in a range here. Okay, same thing here. I added 2 more for long 6, and I'm going to get out of those 6 once it gets up to break even, but that's not where I'm going to end the trade. I'm going to switch back into half size and see if we can hold 3 for a bigger move up if it gets up to break even. We'll see what happens. Okay, wrapping up this video, everything did come back up over, and I got out of all those, I got out of everything, and I tried to keep a little piece to go longer. And then I'm just going over the macro elements here again, looking at this hourly chart, thinking, okay, which way is this really going here? And on the hourly chart, you got the 8, the 20 under the 50, the 20 crossed under the 50, and they're squeezing in between the 200 down here. And just look at the day itself. What a choppy, indecisive back and forth day. It was good for some bounces and some range playing. And what I'm saying is, I guess I'm just going to close everything, which could be a repeated pattern of me just not holding. But looking at this is not a bullish tendency right here necessarily. And since I was down, 1,000, and now I'm up 200 for the day, I'm on that particular account anyway, and I am going to call it quits, and I'm going to be grateful that I'm out of it. Because let's see, on the 15-minute chart here, we have just basically a flat, choppy day. Look at this 15-minute chart. And now everything's kind of under the 200. 200's right here. Everything's rotating down this way. I'm just like, you know what? I think I squeezed out of it the best I could. And I got to get better, but that's the best I could today. So let's take a look at the statistics.